it is really a pity that he was fired. Mr. Mingo was a very good CEO. He understood what was happening, what was needed at the airport. His negotiations in my team towards the bondholders, but also the steering committee at the World Bank, were, you know, of a high quality, and a very realistic CEO. No, I say that big ideas that make things look fancy and then people believe, oh, this is a good job. No, down to earth, straightforward, you know, business approach to get this thing going. But the negotiations, it took a while, also because there were some behind-the-scene forces that were constantly busy in sabotaging the deal. We managed to outrun them eventually, but a lot of time had passed in the meantime, and the back and forth calling to Parliament and the fighting in Parliament. Then, you know, you go into Parliament and then you're talking about we need to have our own people in top positions. Well, you had your own person, your own people in this position, and you fought him, you fired him. And then you ask yourself, you know, why would you do that? Why would you do that? That's maybe another topic. Just
could have been the same forces you spoke about. That
yes. I'm quite sure. This was a plan that was going on already while I was Minister of Finance. And sometimes these forces know exactly when they need to pull the trigger. You know, I used to go to Parliament. On every occasion they call you to Parliament. Fine, that belongs to one of your duties. But at a certain point, you went there, repeated yourself, then notes were made, and then you were called back, and the same questions were asked over and over. You fought it, now you go in, and then all of a sudden, there is no problem with it. You had no problem with signing the airport deal, which you fought us on as well. You know, and so I can give you many more examples of the hypocrisy of it. That's the problem that I have with it. What it cost is, first of all, we are way behind in the further developing. And then, yeah, you can say it's because of COVID. You know, you cannot blame COVID for that, because that is, the reforms have to do with strengthening of your administration and improving on the income on the finance side of your country. So that is one. And then the second thing is you created a dynamic and an atmosphere within the relationship between St. Martin and the Netherlands, and every time there is something else, you know, then you make an agreement here, and then a couple of weeks later that agreement is, you know, out of the door, and then monies are stopped to be given to us. I mean, it goes on, and we're not moving ahead. Curaçao and Aruba, they fight similar fights, but in the back of their mind, they know we still need to provide. So they go along, and along the way, they let the Dutch government know, we are not pleased with this, we're not pleased with that. I mean, when I was minister, I had my battles with the state secretary, even though I was accused of, you know, being the Dutch boy, and I was, you know, I mean, if they look in letters that I sent to the state secretary, it will show the contrary. I mean, if he did something that was not appreciated, I let him know. As a Minister of Finance, I sat once with the banks, and then I told them straight, you know, you guys do not do enough to help us.
But they say the central bank is the issue.
Yeah, and then I spoke to the central bank, and then the central bank says, no, it's not us, it's the local banks. And recently, in my new function, I spoke to the central bank. We're going to have a meeting. The central bank rolled out their new vision for the future. I think that service to private clients really is the worst I ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, the banks don't care. I mean, I went back to my old employer, and my signature needs to be added on to the company's signatory list at the bank. We're now 2.5 months later, and it so happens that today I got an email. Yes, we have permission to do these amendments to the. I mean, you're crazy.
So long.
2.5 months. So I'm not able to sign. How do you function? And they don't care. The banks don't care. They only care about their own institution. They are over liquid. And the only thing the banks do in St. Maarten is to come and make money on us. They're only interested in mortgage loans. And they want to sell you or finance you an expensive car. And that's it. When last did you see a bank had a rally and they say, you know, we're going to help the small or the micro business people, or we're going to open up bank accounts? Because that is not their business. They're not making money there. So you have to find and even fight a very delicate balance that is existing. But this is unbelievable. And the thing is, in our society, if you speak out about those things, which I'm doing now, it might not be without consequences. That's why you see a lot of people don't speak out on the things that they find is not going good in this country, because they know they speak out publicly, or it comes in a newspaper or Facebook, it might cost their job, or a contract will not be extended. And honest to God, Earl, this is how I know our society from since I'm here, and nothing changed. Nothing changed where that is concerned for the better. You know? So, you tell me?